Hey there, it's Gordon, and I just wanted to talk about some new things I did with my EDC, everyday carry. I'll move this out of the way because I'll talk about it here in a little bit. Everything you see on the table here pretty much is what I was carrying before, with the exception of this light. This is a Sig Sauer P239, 9mm, and spare magazine. This weapon has been safety checked. I'm not going to pick it up and mess with it just for expedience sake, time. This is my knife. This is a ti-lite by Cold Steel, and I carry that a lot. I don't always carry that knife, and I don't always carry this gun. Sometimes I carry different guns depending on what I'm wearing or where I'm going. I may need more, or I feel like I don't need as much firepower. But generally speaking, I carry this one. I carry it almost all the time. I carry about 90% of the time, except for when I'm going to work, because the place where I work does not allow firearms in the parking lot or on the property, and it's actually a pretty good thing. Although I really wish I could carry it while I'm in transit. Although I don't live very far from where I work, so but I can have my knife, so I do have my knife with me. So I got a spare magazine for the SIG, and I also have my phone. This phone is different than the last one that I showed, but it essentially does the same exact thing. It's just a different smartphone. That's all. This is an ink pen. I talked about that. This is my new light. This is a watch that my wife gave me as a gift, and this is my wallet. It's got the same stuff that most people have in their wallet, you know, credit cards, identification, insurance stuff. I got a couple band-aids in there. I don't carry any photographs, and mainly the reason I don't carry any photographs, it's not just because I'm a bad daddy, although I may be. The reason I don't carry any photographs is because if I lose that, you know, my IDs have my address on there, and I don't want to have pictures of my wife and my kids in my wallet in case somebody finds that who maybe does not have honorable intentions and decides they want to pay us a visit. I really don't want that. So the other thing I have is my keys, and I'm going to talk about my light. And to talk about my new light, I got to talk about my old light a little bit. My old light is a little mini mag light. Carries it has an incandescent bulb, and it has it's powered by two AAA batteries. And as you can see, it's not very bright, but it does the trick for me. Close-up work, you know, I'm doing something with my fingers and I need a light that I can hold between my teeth, or pinch between my cheek and my shoulder, and I can do some fine work. Maybe the dome light in my truck doesn't do a good enough job, or I'm outside my truck and I'm hooking up a tow chain or something like that. That really comes through in a pinch. I can fit it in my in between my teeth real easy. I don't carry that much anymore. I do carry it sometimes. My new light is this one here. It's a 200 lumen light. I was looking at Surefire lights that were 200 lumen lights, and they cost over $200, like $215. And I really wanted one of those lights, but I just couldn't see myself spending $215. And the clerk behind the store saw me angsting, and so he decided to let me in on a little secret, and he said, hey man, I can't afford that light either. So I went and got this other one, and he pointed it out to me, and he said, this light is $35, and it's also 200 lumens. And I was shocked. And I said, how do you like it? And he said, let me show you. And so he pulled it out, and he was comparing it to the Surefire light. And is it as good as the Surefire light? Yeah, probably not. You know, I'm going to, without doing a side-by-side comparison, I'll say no. I don't know that for sure, but I highly doubt that this light is better than the Surefire light. However, it's about $85 cheaper, and so or $80 cheaper, and I really don't think it's that much worse. It's not, the other light's not $80 better. This light has 3 settings on it. It has the low setting, which is still much brighter than my other light. It has the 200 lumen high setting, and it strobes. It's got an LED, and it's powered by 3 AAA batteries. AAA batteries. And I know that I talk about AAA, I have in the past anyway, talked about AAA batteries. And I was interviewed on one of Nut and Fancy's SHOT Show interviews where he's interviewing TMPers, and I went on and on and on. And I beat the AAA battery, AA battery thing to death about having a common battery, but I'll stand by that any day. You know, I've got those in the house. I got lots of them. They're affordable. They're very easily accessible. Any place that sells batteries, if they sell any batteries at all, they sell AA's and AAA's. Absolutely. Any grocery store, any gas station, any kind of convenience store, any place, Target, Walmart, Kmart, all them, they all have AAA batteries. And I've got a drawer in my kitchen. You know that drawer that has all that stuff that doesn't belong in the kitchen? Well, I've got one of those drawers. Actually, I have two of those drawers. One of them is about half full of batteries, and most of the batteries in there are AA's and AAA's. And by no means am I saying that AAA's and AA's are better than a CR123 battery. What I'm saying is, if you're in a pinch and you need to buy some batteries, especially if you're not near home and you don't know where a good place to buy 123 batteries are, CR123s, you're not going to find them. But you're going to find AAA's and AA's everywhere you go. So consider that when you're buying a flashlight. Now, I've got weapon sights and other gadgets that take CR123s, and I've got some spares, but they're not cheap and they're hard to find. The other thing that I carry and that's new is this thing right here, Houdini escape tool, and it goes on my key ring. And the way it works is this: you're in a rollover accident, or you're in an accident, and your car is crunched up a little bit, and you can't get the doors open anymore. And for some reason, your door's so mashed that the motor on the to roll the windows up and down doesn't work. And so, but you can move around in there, and you want to get out. So you just pull this off of there, jerk it down, pull it off of there. It's got a little light on there, which you can see without taking the key ring portion off of it. You can use that light. Anyway, it's got a seat belt cutter, a little cutting tool to cut seat belts and clothing and maybe a belt. If it's not a real tough leather belt, you may be able to cut through there, or even a tough leather belt, you may be able to worry through there eventually. It's got a safety whistle, and it's got this thing here. This black thing is a spring-loaded center punch. Those of you who do sheet metal work or woodworking, you know what a punch is. What'll happen? It's like a firing pin on a gun. What'll happen is you push this black part against the window, and it compresses down. There's a spring in there, and it compresses down and loads up the firing pin or the punch, and it gets to a point where it releases the punch, and it flies out like a firing pin and jams into the window and shatters the window. And it'll work on your side glass in your car. It won't work on the windshield or some cars on their back window either, because those are not designed to turn into granules. They're designed to basically stay in one big piece. But it'll work on your side windows, so you can crawl out of there if you have to. Now, I'm gonna say something here just for your personal benefit and my personal benefit. If you come up on an accident and somebody is hurt, or you are hurt, and you don't, you're wondering how you're going to get out of a vehicle, do not move somebody that's injured, especially if you don't know what their injuries are, because you could be hurting them even worse. If you have an internal injury, or someone has an internal injury, we'll just call the person, generic person, the victim. The victim has an internal injury that you're not aware of, like a chipped, broken spine, or some kind of internal organ injury, or something like that. Moving them could cause them to be even more injured, seriously injured, and or kill them. And so you don't want to do that. Let the professionals take care of that. And I think the only time where you should move somebody that's hurt is if you know that if you don't, they're probably going to die, like if there's a fire, vehicle's on fire, or it's sinking in water, or something like that. And that is the only time when you should maybe even consider moving somebody. So you really want to think about letting professionals take care of that. All right, that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless, and I hope you come back and watch some more. See ya. on moving somebody that's been